all the time as a responsible citizen of these countries. And by the way, that is the basis on which I say Kenya is surely better than this. We can do better things than this. We are capable of being better people, managing our country better than this. How can you wake up, every week you are the deputy president of the country, you are flying to a particular corner of the country. Like now I was telling people from my neck of the goods that they have become suddenly objects of love from government. They are loved so much. The government people are there every other day. They fly in helicopters, they arrive there. One day they were in 9 choppers. They land there. And they love them so much, they arrive and give them 64 bob each. Then they give them 100 shillings each. That is how they love them so much. They want them to support them. Honestly, I don't know anything more silly than that. And then secondly, the way you run public affairs and the way you want to run public affairs is government to get some work done. And it is obviously for a particular reason why that is being done. And that is not improving the lives of those people in any material way. To arrive there and do those kinds of things is actually to abuse the intelligence of those people. And no wonder all the time they're using animal imagery. It's because they look at these people as animals. It's the way you get your cows and you give them napier grass so that you can milk them. And and so on. So these people, you arrive, you give them 64 bob or 100 bob and hope that they will impoverish. It's a very, if you were to analyze, it's a very Stalinist way, impoverish people into subservience. Don't do anything, don't give them services, they are so poor, so that when you arrive with 100 shillings, they are supposed to kneel down and worship you. 62 years after independence, is that how we are supposed to be managing our public affairs? Honestly, I was saying, if you calculate in the last 2 months or so, if you look at the deployment of ferrying trips to State House from my part of the country, if you have deployed 350 million shillings, let us assume Dibal, we are not foolish people. If you have deployed 350 million shillings in that kind of endeavor, take 10 million shillings to a school, each school. You will do 35 secondary schools in those 2 counties of Nyamira and Kisii. And each one of them will have a very good laboratory, and they would have facilities, and you will alleviate some of the challenges that the parents have in that particular place. Leadership is about problem solving. And what problem do you solve with 64 shillings? It's a joke.
So honestly. You're putting it to us that this is a Starlink sort of, system of governance where you're defrocking, I know there's this analogy they normally, quote, I don't know how accurate it is, of a chicken being, denuded. Defrocked, and he says he was telling his military men that you can see the way I'm trying to, defrock this chicken. And afterwards, when now it is so denuded and without any feathers, you still drop, the maize grains for the chicken to come and it will come to your feet to come and eat it again. Is this what politicians are doing? Honestly,
my brother, what's the difference? Let me ask.
So is it really backed in our system?
What's the difference? It's a style. It is a political ecosystem that has been set by the leaders of the day. The ecosystem is driven by, don't reason with people. Don't engage with them and don't work for them. You don't have to work for them. Why work for them? Loot their money and loot their wealth. And small change you say from the looting, you can show it off by giving the money. And when you give them that 100 shillings or 200 bob, you are such a hero. You are supposed to be worshipped because you are called a great man, because you are the one who brought 100 bob or who brought 64 shillings. And not when you do tangible things. Do you imagine, and I want you for a moment to pause, fortunately for us, those of us who are in this day and age, we have lived through administrations where work has been done. Do you actually imagine, do you foresee, if you close your eyes in your mind's eye, President Mwai Kibaki be doing those kinds of things? Do you imagine President Uhuru Kenyatta, for example, spending time, be smiling and feeling nice that people are being given 200 bob, 100 bob? What are we actually doing with our people? And yet, we would put these resources in tangible development work, and then also have conversations with our people. There's nothing wrong with doing political work and even trying to convince people to get out of what they believe to do something else. But is this the way? And how long will you do that? And to what effect in the long run? And then in the process, Jibal, 2/3 of the things that are being said there are just lies. there's no truth in it. If I come to your district and tell you I'm going to do a road from here to that point, these days the budget is in Parliament, the figures are there, and people can go and check what is being done there. So for me, it is also a question of, it's three things. Number one, it is how we are degenerating as a society, all of us, especially our leaders, and in the attitude with the people they lead, how we are degenerating. And I'm concerned about this in a very